Evening, y'all. Well, good morning probably when you see this video. It's Josh from PokeJax. Hope you're having a terrific new year as we're into 2026. We're going to talk about 2025 going into 2026, goals, what happened in 25, what I'm looking to try to do in 2026. Before we start, I want to give a huge shout out to Team Rocket Joey. Use promo code TRJ, get 5% off all purchases on the site. Really appreciate him. March of 2025 is when I started on for PokeJax, when it became an official business, selling Japanese, Chinese, and Korean Pokemon cards. In August of 2025, I got distribution from ACD. Still to this day, extremely blessed. Distro is a headache though, because as you can see, you gotta buy a lot of things that nobody wants. Not these things, but Azure Lane 2. I know Rudy talks a lot about this. I'm probably gonna do a box opening so people can see what Azure Lane 2 and this Wii Shorts set's about. But you got Legos, Gundam models, they do all right. Pokemon Legos, no. I don't know what it is, but Distro pushes these on me. Cookie Run. Sold a lot on eBay, not many on the site. Little losses, but whatever. At the end of 2025, I had 80K in sales. Way more than I originally projected, especially starting out in March, and all of it was predominantly Japanese, Korean, and simplified products. So hopefully, going into 2026, my goal is to get to that six-figure mark. Do I think it's going to be easy? No, not really. I think for me, it's going to be more or less going back to my roots and going with Japanese, and then throwing a little extra at Distro just to kind of keep them happy. I guess that's the best way I could put it. I watched PokeAndy's last live he did, and he answered a lot of Q&A. I answered some of my Q&A, which I was grateful for, but he is throwing a lot of money at distribution, way more than I am. So just hearing his number and how much he is putting into his multiple distributors and how much I'm putting in to mine, it's like throwing a penny in a wishing well. You ain't gonna get anything, no matter how hard you wish. So put my money into 2026 with collections, buy now collections, and continuing the path with Japanese, and I'm gonna move back into Chinese. With that being said, one thing I did take recently from PokeAndy with his end of the year thing was surprise boxes. So a lot of this ancillary products, we're gonna probably do the same thing. I think it was a great idea. Definitely gonna take that on board, and also kind of do a giveaway. So when Distro does give me something, I think one of the whatever the item is that they give me, I'm gonna do a free giveaway, either ETB or booster box when they give it to me. I might do some of this other small, like the EX boxes or whatever, but some sort of giving back. I try to give back as much to Jacksonville, but for me, I need to give back to y'all. Content, yes, I need to get better at content. The meta is there every day. Content. I put a lot of shorts out, but I don't put a lot of videos out. I think that was one of my biggest weaknesses in 2025. Going into 2026, I'm definitely gonna have to do more content. Get the name out, let people know, hey, I am real, my website's real. Be more real with the folks, and meaning like, hey, showing what I'm doing, what I'm about, what 904 PokeJax is about. But that's one of my huge goals in 2026 is to put a video out at least once a day, maybe once every other day. But I have kids, shouldn't make excuses, but I have 2 kids, they're all in sports, very active, military life. I bounce around a lot. It gets difficult, even if it's like a 5-minute video on something. I think that's better than nothing at all, at least to get, hey, my name out there and let people know what I'm about. In 2026, I've been thinking about this, and I did a little Instagram, YouTube post, Swift Plus. So what I'm looking at right now is a subscription type thing like Amazon Prime. So you pay for shipping for the year. So not as expensive as Prime. I'm way smaller. What my mind is thinking right now is Swift will be $50 to $60 for the year, and Swift Plus probably $100. And what Swift Plus will be priority mail. I'm looking at those ideas. I don't think it's a terrible idea, especially if people are buying a lot. And I think that buying a lot factor comes in with going back to Japanese products. You just got to time it right when it comes to Japanese and Chinese products. Not a fan of Korean anymore. I used to sell a lot of Korean, but with tariffs and shipping, it's just the margin doesn't make sense. And typically I'm losing out on money doing Korean. And like I try to, get everything at a fair price. I try to be under market as much as possible, even when you count shipping in. So sometimes shipping makes it at market or still below market. But I think if I incorporate more Japanese products into my website and offer that Swift or Swift Plus, that's what I'm going to call it, I think it'll benefit me and it'll benefit you guys, because most of the feedback I get is shipping. Everybody hates shipping. So if I offer something with hey, this is your annual pass basically for shipping, it opens it up for the whole year of free shipping to you. That's something I'm thinking about, and maybe putting that into like the mystery boxes. I might drop a free promo code in there for you for free shipping. Get back to the roots. That got me to where I'm at now. I think Japanese was the key. That's what helped me get into ACD, my distribution, showing the numbers, how quick I was selling them. And what I noticed is once I pulled back from Japanese, and mainly it was because of the tariffs at the time, because I was still trying to figure that out, grasp on that again. I think that's what I want to go back to, is my roots of Japanese and keeping a stock of Japanese products available, and whatever I can provide English, it'll be there as well from distribution. I do have some items coming. I got some more Charizard UP season on its way. I have some Phantasmal Flame booster bundles, even have Destined Rivals booster bundles on its way. So I'm excited to get those in, get them on the website, get them out to y'all at a fair price. It was a foundation block, learned a lot. I wish I would have vlogged more. I wish I would have gave more back to the community as in videos. So that's my main goal of 2026, is to build more content, build a better brand. I think that's my biggest weakness right now, is my brand and not having a huge one. I need to build that and build that trust into y'all out there. So looking forward to doing more content, getting that content out there to you, better content, and just trying to make a name for myself. Let everybody know 904 PokeJax is a real deal, and just trying to be a contender to all those out there. But yeah, that kind of sums it up. 25, really, like I said, don't have too much to share about it. It was a good year. Start off in March. Here I am, January 2026. Have distribution with very little social media. I'm talking right now, you know how many followers I got or subscribers? I have 250. My goal at the end of 26 is to try to get monetized. Probably not going to happen, which is fine with me. Not a huge loss. Just keep on trucking and building. But just for you folks out there that, when you hear, oh, you got to have a social media following to get distribution, that is not 100% correct. I did it without it. I had maybe 1,000 people on TikTok, 400 and some odd people in Instagram, and 250 subscribers on YouTube. So there's your social media numbers for you. And I got it by grinding. I got it by selling Japanese, Chinese, and Korean products, presenting a good presentation for ACD, and they took me on. Now, granted, I don't get a lot, but what I do get, I am grateful for, and I don't complain, because I know there's a lot of folks out there trying to get it. So, especially as an online business, so I'm grateful for that. But to sum this up, 2026 goal: monetize more subscriptions, better brand, bring back Japanese and Chinese products to the website, and keep it stocked at all times. That's my goal. So I've already been reaching out to suppliers, getting quotes, cornerstone that got me where I'm at, and still continue working with distribution and buying collections. Those are my big goals for 2026. I'm looking forward to 2026. I know this is kind of a ramble. That's something else I got to get better at. It's kind of sticking to the topic and not jumping all over the place. But yeah, other than that, y'all have a great weekend, and chat with y'all later. 904 out.